Hey guys, this is a little video just to run over the coach discussion in week 2 of your 12-week coach development pathway. So I know I had conversations with you last week in week 1 about different things with regards to the just a little discussion question. So why the client experience matters, why the coach presence sets the tone, and why people return to the gym beyond the program itself. Really good discussions, good chat, good getting your feedback. And this week, wanted to do it slightly differently. I want you to have a think about those questions and then fire them through to me in email or text or WhatsApp or whatever. I just wanted to go over the discussion points myself and some of the thoughts that I had around it so that we can kind of compare notes and see what overlap that we have, if there is any. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just basically your 2 cents and trying to get you to think about these things. So the first one, what's the difference between coaching athletes and general population clients? Now, over the years, we've been running nearly 10 years in January coming up. Over the years, we've coached everybody from really high level cyclists. There's a guy actually, he set the record for a 2-man team cycling around Ireland a few years ago. There's another like people like high level GAA players. Some of them in the County Down team now. They were youth players whenever they were here. We've coached those guys. We've coached someone who's a pro card in golfing. We coached her for a while. I'm trying to think of other ones. Yeah, there's probably other ones as well. Some good rowers, cyclists, and some powerlifters and things. Now, coaching athletes, the thing about athletes is they will push to extremes. They will push to the limit, and you don't have to tell them quite often to push those places. They will go there whether you want them to or not. And in many cases, it's about trying to pull them back in and trying to rein them in. With general population clients, or who we primarily deal with, older adults, there's a lot more kind of complications, and sometimes we have to encourage those clients and those members to go to places of discomfort and intensity that they're maybe not used to going. Other times we'll just have to watch them and be aware of their limitations and make sure they're not going to push past their limits. Some of them might have been good athletes at one time when they were younger, and then now they've maybe haven't done training for a while, and in their head they still think they should be at a certain level, which is up here, but they're maybe down here, which it happens to all of us at some stage, especially if you haven't been training regularly. So the biggest difference, I would say, is you're trying to hold athletes back and give them the minimal effective dosage, but that also applies to general population clients. It's giving people the minimal effective dosage, so not making people do more than they have to, essentially, to get the desired outcome, the desired result. And sometimes the easiest thing in the world is just to kind of beat somebody up and give them loads and loads of volume, loads and loads of work to do without considering their recovery. So what other stresses do they have? If someone's an athlete, they're going to have the best nutrition. They're going to have maybe see somebody even cooking for them and doing all that, and they're going to get loads of sleep. They're going to get 10 hours unbroken sleep, and they're going to recover properly. But when it comes to general population, I mean, they've got kids, they've got maybe parents to look after, grandparents, they've got a job stress, they've got all these things going on, bills have to be paid, all these external stressors and things. And if we're going to start giving them more and more stress, that's going to have implications. There's loads of different discussion points around this. We could probably go on forever, but those are just some of the things that come to my head. Interested to know your thoughts as well. Second one is why older adults need high quality coaching. Older adults are a special population. Reason being, after a while, happens to all of us, and I'm getting up near 40 now, but we get stiffer. Our tissues change in form, and we do tend to get stiffer. Joints get stiffer, muscles get weaker, and the older you are, the chances are you have more injury history, you've had more attempts or more opportunity to injure yourself across those years. Whenever you're a teenager, you haven't as many years to hurt yourself, basically. So, especially when you're young and reckless. But a lot of older people just have a track record of whether it's fighting gravity every day, whether it's an accident in a car, or whether it's an old sporting injury, or just something that happened and they have a bad hip or a bad knee or something. We've all got something, and that's just life. So older adults require high quality coaching. I would argue maybe even better coaching than athletes, because if you show an athlete how to do a snatch or a clean, a lot of them would get it like that. They'll get it straight away. But for us, we have to really keep an eye on older adults, because they'll maybe not be aware of maybe some sensitivity in their back or their hip or their shoulder. Maybe their shoulders tight and they can't even get underneath the barbell. We have to figure out solutions on the fly and constantly dialogue and go back and forth with them, trying to figure out solutions with them, how to fix their problems, their specific problems. There's certain things will reoccur with a lot of clients. You'll get the same kind of problems, and then once you solve it once, you'll be able to kind of refer back to that. But quite often there's new problems crop up, and there's new issues, and it's trying to discern between someone having an injury and having a bit of soreness or a bit of stiffness or a bit of tightness. It's trying to figure out those two and have that conversation. But older adults deserve high quality coaching. They need high quality coaching. They just aren't as robust as whenever someone's younger. Remember, whenever I was younger, you'd do something silly and you would not have correct technique, and you would twinge your back on a Monday, and by Wednesday you're back training again. You would just heal so quickly. Older people don't heal as quickly. That's one thing across the board I've noticed. And they also tend to have more sensitive tissue, so their back, and I keep referring to the back because that's a really common one. But also shoulders tend to get stiff, ankles tend to get stiff. That can have a knock-on effect in terms of their squatting or their walking up or down hills or steps and things. So there's loads. Again, we could go into this. We could do a whole podcast on each of these topics, but keep it kind of brief. How to make nervous beginners feel safe. Quite a lot of our clients will come in. They've never been in the gym before. They don't have a history of being in the gym, and they might be a little bit nervous about what's it going to be like? Who am I going to meet? Am I going to be uncomfortable? What's he going to make me do? There's all sorts of things that they will be feeling and thinking. And it might be hard for me and you, but if you've been used to being in the gym and training, it's really hard to identify if you've been here for a while. But it's important to think back how someone would feel if they'd never been in the gym before. It's a really bizarre place if you've never been exposed to it. So I think having that little bit of empathy, that can go a long way in making beginners feel safe. So just talking them through what they're doing, what they should be feeling, and let them know it's okay to not feel okay, to tell us if something doesn't feel right. And we try to do this from the very beginning in our onboarding process. We'll send out an email, and I'll give them a little welcome video. I'll give them some just messages to kind of reassure them that they're welcome here and what to do when they first come in, because they can feel a little bit, what's this all about? So that's, I think empathy is the biggest thing. Try and think about what they're feeling. How to make beginners feel safe. Yeah, that's about it. And then also just have some sort of roadblocks in place so they can't go too far. Just reassure them, even with the weights and the loading that we give them. Make sure it's not too heavy the first session. Just get them moving. That tends to be a really good way to make them feel safe, and let them build a bit of confidence in themselves, and let them think, I can do this. I can be here, and I belong here. Those are really important, just to make them feel safe, feel included, feel like this should be part of their routine and their daily life. That's about all I say. That's all I've got. I could probably keep talking for ages, but hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully we've got a little bit of overlap there. I'm really interested to hear what you're going to say, because that's just my 2 cents, but I'm interested to hear from your perspective what you're going to say about each of those. So yeah, we'll chat again in the near future.